Hey YouTube, this is David, Richter Scale Studios. Long time, no broadcast. I think it's 5 months since my last video on YouTube. I've been doing some posting on my Facebook channel, Richter Scale Studios, the same name. I have been taking a break. I had a kidney transplant back in June. I'm doing very well. So what, 4.5 months out right now, and feeling pretty good. We're a little recovery, a couple complications, nothing major, but no signs of rejection. Just being in your late 40s, doing major surgery, you don't bounce back like you're in your 20s. But this is part 12 of the swap meet Landspeeder Rehab. If you've followed along all, God, it's probably been over a year I've been doing this. I got these at a, just to update everyone that hasn't seen this, I bought these, or I bought a whole table of Space Marines at a swap meet at Great Escape Games in Sacramento in 2014, I believe. 19, that's crazy. And I think I got the whole table for $200. It was probably about $700 worth of Marines. Because right here we got, I think these are $35 a piece, so that's 140, almost $200 with the things. I figure I probably paid $25-30 for all four of these. They were kind of rapidly put together, and they were sprayed a solid, like a light olive green. I don't know what kind of army he was going for, but it was playable. I mean, they weren't bad. It was nicely coated. Some of it wasn't put together correctly. There was a lot of broken pieces and missing pieces. As you can see, I had to go on here. I did all the weapon options. I had to go on eBay and buy a lot of them. I still haven't done the screen protectors for the pilot yet, but I wanted to make sure all land speeders had all weapon options. So we have the obviously the bolt gun for the gunner. We have a Melta for the gunner. And we have the assault cannon, the heavy flamers, assault cannons, heavy flamers, and what else do we have for them? I think that's it. So yeah, so assault guns and heavy flamers for the bottom. Everything's magnetized, so it's easy to switch out, which is a good thing. And I'll show you the bases are all customized. Bases were done first before anything else, and that's a 1/4" magnet and 3/8 acrylic onto the base, and that's my homemade slate, and just something to make it a little more interesting. And these are very portable, so it all breaks down to put in your transport bag. You're not going to be busting stems, and a little more easier on your transportation. Okay, since I've been back doing this, I haven't done any filming. I did finish the basic, a little bit of line highlighting. What this whole thing is about is doing edge highlighting with watercolor pencils. They're Derwent. There's a picture up there of the pencils using China white and a gray. And there's another picture up here now of the before and after of the bottoms. These are all done now, but I have photographs. They're off of Richter Scale Studios Facebook artist page. So you can see the airbrush work. We're now doing some edge highlighting. We haven't done any washing yet. Still haven't done all the details. I got to still do the missiles and finish the pilot and the co-pilot. Some of the co-pilots, I just did a basic flesh with a flesh wash on it, just to get them going, to start, you know, progressing on there. I've got the ultramarine symbol painted like a gray, and then the Aquila painted a brown. So we're going to do all non-metallics on this, I believe. I was going to go for regular metallics on the weapons, but I'm going to do the whole thing. As you see, the grav skirts, this one's not completed yet. So later on in this video, I'm going to go back. I'm just protecting what I have right now. The watercolor pencils are very sensitive to touch, and when you rub them, they come right off. But I'm going to hit them with a matte coat real quick and let them sit, and that'll protect the work I've done already, and go back in. And I've been finding out sometimes the matte coat knocks down what you've done already. So you can see on here, one of these I'm redoing already, and it's making it a little bit brighter. And like, this is a down and dirty non-metallic metal. This is not a competition or display piece. This is something to make a little beyond tabletop, because you're not going to see the bottoms anyways. But you know, if you want to show someone, oops, how cool your model is. And these are going to be weathered also. I'll show you some problems with the watercolor pencils later on. They do crumble a little bit, and if you start putting too much pressure and slip, you get marks on the rest of the model, which is not a problem. I just used a little bit of my airbrush mix. It's got barely a touch of alcohol and water with a Q-tip, and it removes the watercolor pencil off immediately. But as you can see, it's a very fast process. It's not like a paintbrush where you're stuck with what you have, and it's a little more time-consuming using edge of a paintbrush to paint on the edge highlightings. And like I said before, if I'm doing a display piece or competitive piece, I'm not going to be using watercolor pencils. But this is for good gaming. Any of you commissioned army painters out there, I can recommend this too. I was recommended this by, as a down and dirty method, by Mr. Justin at Secret Weapons Miniatures. I probably mentioned before, I've taken classes at Secret Weapon. I'm in Northern California, so I'm really close to that facility. So if he puts up anything on Facebook, I usually sign up immediately. He always brings in great artists from all over the country into town also. So what I'm going to do right now, I got to protect all my, see my airbrushes over here. I've been working strictly with Badger Patriot 105s. I got a regular 105, the 105 Aero, and the new 105 Extreme. Nope, not any particular reason. This one is just something to work with for a while. And just keep it repertoire down to simple 3 airbrushes. They're all, one's a super high detail, one's a medium detail, one's a very higher, like a 0.5 needle. But that doesn't have anything to do with that. That's great for spraying Stano-Res primers. So this is going to be noisy for a second, and I'm going to put on a mask to protect myself. I'm using a Rattle Can Master Series. I'll put it on camera real quick. Lusterless flat. So this is also going to make it flat as an initial coat. We're eventually going to go in and do a wash also, because that's going to bring out more of the detail and bring depth in. And I'm probably going to use MIG enamel washes, MIG Ammo, if anyone's familiar with him. He's had, MIG, and now it's MIG Ammo, because he split up with the original company a while ago. So I'm going to kick up my fan in the spray booth, so excuse the noise. Turn it down a little bit. And you can see there's a little bit of, I've been doing some other highlighting on the wings and things. Also, I've been noticing, if you're going to do heavy weathering and you get a little streak here and there, don't worry about it, because then you can just go in with your reddish browns or your dark browns to do battle damage or scratching, and use that as a in-place highlight already. So you're still kind of speeding up the process. So I'm just going to put on this quick sprays. It goes on really wet like that, but it'll shrink and dry really, really flat. And I just really want to protect those white lines. And you can see as I spray it, see if I can bring this in a little bit. And you can see it's a nice effect on there. It looks kind of metallic. But once I hit it, it does knock it back a little bit. It seems to, like when it dries, for some reason, almost like a pigment powder. If you've ever worked with those before, when you hit varnishes on them and they dry after a while, they do kind of settle. They don't stand out from the model as much. Let me bring this back out. Oops. I'm going to have the domino effect of these things. Making a big mess, getting fingerprints on these. It's not going to be that bad. Wow, this one is not wanting to stand up. I'm going to put my hand behind it. I'm going to come back in a second. This is ridiculous. Okay, we're back. Took care. I put a glove on and held the ones that were being less stable. And you can see they're starting to dry at different intervals. And we're done. So I'm going to let these dry. We'll come back, and I showed you the photos of the actual pencils I'm using and the before and after on this non-metallic scheme I'm doing on the bottoms. So I'll come back, and there's some areas that I didn't do, and there's some I could actually right now, so I've missed. It's kind of anyone that's done edge highlighting know it's a tedious task, especially you see here you have all these basic shapes, so like you have all these rectangles and things you got to cover up. So I'm going to go back, and I have the upper graph skirts to do, and I'm doing the the gray, it's like a bluish gray, like a cold gray. I'm doing that to edge highlight all the details on the actual hull itself to bring out that detail. And we'll be back and show you that. Thanks. Okay, we're back. We're going to finish up part 12 real quick here. So we can see right now, as I showed you before in the pictures at the beginning of the video, this is silver gray. I'm using this on the blue. It's almost like a wolf gray. And then for the non-metallic metals, give it a hard edge light of China white or Chinese white. And as you can see right here, here's the grab skirt. I just want to show you how it, this is a real basic fade of like a non-metallic. Very down and dirty, nothing, not display quality like I'd mentioned before. But something that's going to be eye-catching on the table and a little bit, nicer, a little more effort than just throwing on metallic paint and a wash and a steel highlight. So I'm just going to take the pencil, and it's just really simple. Oh, also, I have a little palette dish here and a Q-tip. I can bring this out a little bit. And I'm just going to use some of my mix that I clean my airbrush with and thin paint with. So it's just basically the 85% water and rubbing alcohol. This might be 99% alcohol now, I'm not sure. When I got the recipe, it was 99% alcohol. I had nothing really available at the time to do that, but I have bought it. So it might be slightly stronger, but that's neither here nor there. That's just in case we have any mess ups. So I'll show you something. Let's say I'm grabbing this, and oops, I just like slip, and we have that white line right there. Just take your Q-tip, a little bit of fluid, good as new. See, no residue or anything. So I want to go in and just kind of show you this real quick. I'm not going to do the whole thing for you, but I just want to show you how it pops. So just go in here, just do your edges. And I'm finding out that if the harder you push, you get a little more crumbling, and you're going to do a lot of blowing. So it might be annoying if you're with fellow painters that you're blowing every few seconds. But I can just go here. This has got some kind of weird thing on it. But you saw how that crumbled real quick. Just blow it off. Let me show you how it pops real quick. So I'm just going to take this part of the grab skirt. And this is another time saver. Just go, all your parallel edges, go through them. And this might not be parallel, but this is pretty close to parallel on this corner. And then spin it around. Do all your other parallel edges. Also, this step can be done too. It makes it pop. See there, I had another little mess up. Still have the dampness right there. And kind of clean that off real quick. Just had my coffee and my medication from my transplant. I'm a little shaky from it, but we'll work through it. But you can already see how it's already bringing out a lot of detail. Let's bring it upside down so we have all these other. And don't forget the edges of these exterior pieces of the grab skirt. There's a lot of edge detail on these. So, you have different levels of the white highlighting coming out. It doesn't have to be perfect either, because this is just being reflective surfaces. So, and also it's going to be weathered later too. This is going to be like in a dusty desert environment, this thing flying around, so there's going to be a lot of collected dust. But you can see right there how it pops. I mean, it just really changes the whole thing. And another thing I like on the step right here, we do have a little bit of airbrush highlighting. But one thing I like about that, let's go in here and do the step again, or get the skirt. There's a little white line there just to get reflection in the back edge of the skirt. I'm going to do that. Let's get the skirt done. I'm just going to do this one side for you. Then, to bring out detail on the step, okay, there's some joints here on the step where it goes into the hull. So let's do a little line there. And it does you can do that on the bottom also. Then we have the reflection line on that part of the step. And then we'll go in here. I'm just going to outline the whole step from the upper edge. We have all these corners. And this is the cool part I like. This is, you don't use, it's not really heavy detail, because this is going to be weathered too with, stepping on it. But just that little line right there, then a little bit right on the highlight, and then just maybe another part right there. So it just adds a little more interest. And you can see you can go inside the skirt, because there's all kinds of edges. You just want to get as many edges as possible. That might be a little, we need a little cleanup on that. So that is basically done. And also you can take the dry Q-tip, and I can see I got some on the hull itself. Just go in there, rub it out, and then I can go back into that pencil, be more careful, pull the tip so it's not so close to the hull. And there. And that is a quick and dirty paint by numbers edge highlighting. And bring it around, and you can just see the difference. Let me see, I'll show you this another quick thing. Let's just do one, how this brings it on this side. Oops. See the mess up on this damp Q-tip? And just look at that. That one little area just brings all that out. You kind of might get that little, catch that edge up here. So it shows you that. So that is it. The other part we're doing is we're doing that silver. And I think I got most of these guys done. I did a lot of this, excuse me while I'm rolling away for a second. I just want to show, there's like, this is all edge. Oh, okay, we can do, I'm probably going to go gray in here, but I can just show you real quick. I'm going to do a different color on the edges, because these things are so plain with this, all the blue. And I did 4 different shades to bring it to almost white, from like an imperial blue. An imperial blue, ultramarine blue mix. I think I used mostly game colors on painting this up. So you just kind of just put minimal pressure. These other edges, just kind of let your pencil do the work. And you can see that already coming out, and compared to the other side. Like do these other edges. And like I said, you saw in the first part of this, on part 12, some of the lines might get too thick for you, so you can just erase them. Because these are some weird edges right here. These are like, they're not really 90-degree edges. And there's all kinds of little raises and geometric shapes that come out, which is nice with the edge highlighting, because it just brings out more detail. Because that little block right here that's coming out is not digging the, it's picking up too much of the pencil. Remember to breathe. See, I screwed it up again. But that's what's so simple about this. But, once you do all this, you can just run through it real quick, then clean up what you need. And it seems with all these edges and corners, you're always going to miss some sometimes. So come back, or get it nice and clean where you think it is. Go and protect it with your matte varnish. I prefer that rattle can real quick. It's real, there's no airbrush cleanup. I don't ever do brush on varnishes, but I can't see why it wouldn't work. See more lines in here to do. Screwed it up again. It is faster, but the brush is so much easier because it's. I mean, well, I use a brush much more often than I use a colored pencil. I just want to show you that, so you can see how that just brings out that detail compared to that side, and you can see all the stuff I've already done already. All the panel lines are pretty sought out or picked out. I've been touching it, so I've been losing these edges, but you can always go back over them. And after you protect it, you can go back over it too. And maybe there's some corners that you want to might bring out like a more of a highlight. Like, let's see one we do. Well, let's go up here. This corner here, edge it up, and then go in with your Chinese white, and just that very top corner, bring a little more highlight in. Nice. So this is going to conclude part 12. You'll see in the beginning of part 13, I'll have these all line highlighted. And part 13, it's probably just going to be more of a show of what I'm doing. I'll give you a little preview. Obviously, you saw that. I'm going in and Beastie Browning the shoulder pauldrons edges, because we're going to do a non-metallic gold on those. Probably quick and dirty, a little bit of glazing. I'm not going to do all, I might do one or two on camera and show that off. Then I got to do some, like I said, these were bought, assembled, broken. I had to put them together. So a lot of stuff in the back, I'm kind of winging it with different colors, just to give the back of the, or the Space Marines, to give it kind of a leather or kind of grayish, like a cold greenish gray look. Then I'm gonna wash it and highlight it just to bring a little detail out. Missiles are probably gonna be white, probably same gray green in the back there. Yeah, this one hasn't been painted yet. Let's see when I have one that is painted. That's not. Okay, this is where you're gonna turn out to be. So this has not been washed though, or it has been a little washed. But you see how that gray green in the back, and it'll be the white missiles with red tips. It'll kind of give it some more pop. And I'm still might be doing something with this. I'm not sure yet. Maybe not. It's Ultramarines. I might also, just for future reference, use my craft cutter. If you've seen any of my other videos using the craft cutter, it's a thing I got from Kablams. You ever watch his videos? And I can cut my own stencils out and just do some, maybe do another, like these are going to be gold, so they're going to be the second company of the Ultramarines, and do that cross X with the things for fast attack. Maybe have that and that on the those back wings, and that'll be it. So once again, thank you for joining me. It's good to be back and contributing to the hobby again. I will see you in the next part. Thanks.